My CRM now updates itself automatically every time a lead emails me. Before that, I had to read the message, pull out the important details, update the record manually, and decide what to do next. It looked like a small task, but it kept repeating. Now the email comes in, AI extracts the data, the CRM updates itself, and the lead is instantly easier to act on. This is one of the simplest AI systems a solo business can use to remove repetitive admin without losing control. And here's the structure behind it. Most solo founders do not struggle because they lack demand. They struggle because incoming demand arrives as messy information. A lead email is not operational data yet. It is just an unstructured message sitting in an inbox. One person asks for pricing. Another describes a problem in 3 paragraphs. Another sends a vague request with no real context. Before any of that becomes useful, someone has to translate it into a system the business can actually use. That is where the hidden admin starts. You read the email. You decide whether the lead matters. You copy over the name, company, and request. You add tags. You write internal notes. You try to remember what the next action should be. And because this work feels small, it usually gets delayed, rushed, or done inconsistently. The result is a CRM full of incomplete records and a pipeline that never feels fully reliable. The real value of this system is not that it uses AI. The value is that it converts raw communication into structured business data automatically. Instead of treating the inbox and the CRM as separate places, the system turns them into one connected flow. A lead email comes in. The system reads it. It identifies the sender, the company, the request, the urgency, and any useful qualification signals. Then it turns those details into clean fields that a CRM can actually use. If the contact already exists, the record gets updated. If the lead is new, a fresh record can be created. Notes can be attached. Tags can be added. A basic priority level can be assigned. And the next action becomes visible immediately. So the inbox stops being a storage area for unfinished work. It becomes the front door of an operating system. The moment a lead reaches the business, the information is already moving into a form that can be tracked, filtered, and acted on. The easiest way to understand this is as a 4-layer system. The first layer is capture. This is where the email enters the workflow. It could come from Gmail, a shared sales inbox, or any other intake channel where inbound lead messages appear. The important thing is that the moment a relevant message arrives, the system has something to work with. The second layer is extraction. This is where the AI reads the message and pulls out the useful parts. Not everything in an email matters equally. The system looks for the sender identity, company details, the actual request, any urgency signals, possible budget clues, and anything that helps qualify the lead. What matters here is structure. The AI is not writing an essay. It is translating a messy message into usable fields. The third layer is update. Once the data is structured, the CRM record can be created or enriched. Contact details are added. Notes are attached. Tags are applied. Status can be updated. What used to be manual entry becomes a repeatable system behavior. The fourth layer is routing. Once the record is clean, the lead can move into the correct next state. Maybe it needs a follow-up. Maybe it needs review. Maybe it is high intent and deserves priority. The job of the system is not just to store information, it is to move the lead toward action. The stack behind this can stay simple. You need an inbox, a workflow layer, an extraction model, and a customer relationship management destination. That could mean Gmail, Zapier, or Make, GPT, or Claude, and a system like Airtable, HubSpot, or Notion. But the important point is not which exact tools you choose. Tools execute. Architecture decides. If the logic is weak, the stack will not save it. If the logic is strong, even a simple setup can remove a surprising amount of admin. This is also where a lot of people get automation wrong. They assume that if AI can read the message, it should make every decision on its own. That is usually a mistake. Good business automation removes repetitive work, but it should not remove judgment where judgment still matters. That is why this kind of system needs a control layer. If extraction is uncertain, the record should be flagged for review. If a field is missing, the system should leave it blank rather than invent confidence. If a lead looks unusual or high value, a human should still make the final call. And if follow-up actions are attached later, those actions should be based on clear rules, not blind trust. The goal is not full autonomy. The goal is reliable leverage. You want the system to handle the repetitive translation work while you keep control over anything that affects quality, positioning, or relationship risk. What this changes is bigger than time savings. Yes, it reduces manual admin, but the deeper benefit is that it improves the quality of the pipeline itself. When records are cleaner from the moment a lead arrives, the business can respond faster, qualify more consistently, and see opportunities more clearly. Instead of opening your CRM and seeing half-finished entries, missing context, and inconsistent notes, you start with structured information. Instead of letting good inquiries sit in the inbox because they have not been translated into action yet, you shorten the distance between demand and execution. That matters even more in a solo business, because every broken handoff becomes your problem. This is why a system like this belongs inside an AI operating system for a solo founder. It does not exist to look impressive. It exists to remove a hidden layer of repeated work that keeps the business slower than it should be. One email comes in, the record gets updated, and the next step is already visible. For a solo business, that is what useful AI looks like: less manual admin, cleaner pipeline data, and faster action.